Yeah, I mean, that's exactly true. And now we're relying on algorithms more than ever. You started to see it with Google, but now you're seeing it with Airbnb as well. Like they're tracking 700 different metrics to see where to place you in the search results in real time. And so, a lot of the work that we're doing nowadays is just getting to the top of the search results.
Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Brad Griner, is the founder and CEO of Open Air Homes. They're a premium property management company for short-term and monthly rentals in Los Angeles and Palm Springs. They help homeowners rent their properties intelligently, stay fully compliant, and maximize long-term revenue without the hype. Welcome to the show, Brad.
Thank you, Dylan. Thank you for having me.
Now, when we talk about this segment of the short-term rental space, oftentimes people think that, okay, I have this luxury property, I'm going to really stand out from the pack. But at the same point in time, it becomes trickier because now you're competing against everyone else who may have that same level of luxury. And so now it's almost like the standard for everything is ratcheted up a notch.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly true. And now we're relying on algorithms more than ever. You started to see it with Google, but now you're seeing it with Airbnb as well. Like they're tracking 700 different metrics to see where to place you in the search results in real time. And so, a lot of the work that we're doing nowadays is just getting to the top of the search results because you're right. There are so many luxury properties out there. There are so many people that are deciding to monetize their home. You're going to get lost in the shuffle if you're not optimized, even if you
You
have
know,
like an incredible property.
when we talk, about that specifically, one of the things that investors say is, you make the money on the acquisition side, right? So when you purchase a property, you got to buy it for the right price. But if you're looking at a short-term rental, mid-term rental, right, and it's on one of these platforms, the management of the property itself is critical. And from what I understand, reviews drive everything.
Yeah, and I tell homeowners all the time, like you can manage yourself. And there are a lot of people out there that are managing their own property. Airbnb makes it very easy for you to do. I think the difference is it's like we're doing it now for 75 properties. So like we have learned all the things that you would need to learn to get into it. But yeah, they make it very easy to do it on your own. And really it's very simple. If you price it properly and you have great reviews, you're going to probably have success. You really just need to make sure that the guests are taken care of, and that's how you're going to lead to success. But yeah, the maintenance of it, like you don't want to give people any reason for leaving a bad review because a bad review will cost you thousands of dollars in future bookings.
One of the things that I think people underestimate is the amount of communication that they'll be receiving, especially if you're in this segment, this luxury segment. Because if there's any small thing, the Wi-Fi, where to take the trash out, hey, this one thing isn't working, right? People want an answer in like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So what we do, so we have our guests, we text them. So like what I learned from boutique hotels is like, it's so nice to be able to text the front desk and be like, hey, I need toilet paper or whatever it is. So we apply that same standard for our guests. So, you know, we're switching to 24-hour day communication this month. We were going almost 24 hours, but now we're 24 hours because like, a 3 a.m. lockout, like that causes a lot of stress for people. So, you know, the thing you'll see in all of our reviews, literally nearly every single one is like, wow, they got back to us really, really quickly. And that's just, for me, that's the standard moving forward. It should be what people expect, but it's hard to do if you're running, this is where it becomes hard if you're running just your own property. You want to go to bed at midnight or whenever and not have to think about it. And, if you're managing one property, like it really can lead to a lot of stress.
Yeah, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but especially if you're just starting out, one bad review can really have a huge impact.
Oh, yeah. Like, if your first review this happened to us. If your first review is a bad review, you should probably just restart the listing, to be quite honest, because you're trying to climb up a hill that's, you know, we had a break in on a first stay in a brand new home. And it's like, there's literally no way of coming back from that. You're just climbing up a hill ever since. Nothing that we necessarily did wrong with the house. It was just like extremely bad luck across the board. So yeah, so a bad review is, listen, once you have 10 or 15 positive reviews,
Yeah.
everybody has a different sense of like what luxury is or what nice is. And things can go wrong. Like in a house, many things can go wrong. So
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Don't aim for perfection or aim for perfection, but realize that there's going to be that occasional guest. I can have the exact same home, nothing's changed. The first guest loves it, thinks it's the best home they've ever stayed in. The next guest can think it's the worst thing that they've ever seen in their lives. The exact same home.
Now, when we talk about, that difference of opinion, right? Is there like an on-ramp to when you'll start to see some consistency? Like, okay, we're now seeing repeat bookings, or not, maybe not repeat, but consistent bookings. Is it like 3 months? Is it 6 months? Do some people, right away start racking up reviews? Is there a specific strategy people can take?
Yeah. So Airbnb thinks about it through, and I speak through the lens of Airbnb because they're the juggernaut. They continue to take over market share. VRBO is also, hopefully they catch up at some point in time. But, you know, momentum and velocity are kind of the two words that they use. And we see it in our listings all the time. If it's a brand new listing, you have to take that first booking and then you start to build momentum from there because it signals to the algorithm that people want this home, that they're enjoying their stay. And so, that probably happens. It depends. If you're doing monthly rentals, it takes longer to build good reviews. But if you're doing short term, you know, within the first month, you can start to build that. And by month 3, you should be, if you're doing well, you know, you'll start to see all your metrics go up. You'll start to see you're way outperforming the market in terms of views, in terms of conversion rates, and then you can start to see more success from there.
Pivoting a bit here, Brad, a lot of times I've heard of people buying these type of investment properties because they personally have an interest in an area. Uh, is that a strategy where you feel like there can be profitability there? Or if people are going to be, potentially using it for a quarter of the year, is that going to drastically impact their ability to be successful the remainder 3 quarters of the year?
Yeah, the first thing I'd say with interest rates so high and the price of houses have gone up so much, when a homeowner comes to me and they haven't purchased yet, what I try to tell them is like, listen, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make you money from the beginning, but if you're thinking about this, like this is a vacation home that I want to use, that I want to come to, and I'm going to work with you to offset the cost of home ownership for the first maybe 5 or 10 years until I can refinance or whatever happens. That's the lens at which I would think through if you're buying a home today, to be quite honest, in the California market. Every
Yeah.
market's a little bit different, but we've just seen the price of homes continue to go up. And so I don't know if that answers your question, but
Oh, it
like,
does, certainly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I love it when a homeowner comes to me and they're like, "I wanna offset my cost of home ownership," because it takes the stress off of my plate because, like, I can't control the market. Like, our Palm Springs market, all of a sudden, there was a huge oversupply and less demand about 2 years ago. Everybody jumped into that market. There was some, like, Wall Street Journal report about it, the best short-term rental market to invest in. Well, everyone invested, and all of a sudden, the supply was huge. And, I can't control market dynamics. And so what I've seen that works best is it's like, it's a different philosophy for your real estate investors, which is like, no, I think I might want to retire in California. I want to buy this home because I love it. I might break even on it. I might make money. Some of our homeowners from the moment they buy, they are making money on it. But I would think more through the lens of offsetting the cost of home ownership because you want to own that home for a long time, maybe pass it down to your kids
Right,
or whatever
right.
the case may be, as opposed to strictly as a business. And that's just my market. I don't know about in Texas if all of a sudden
No, I mean, I think when people talk about offsetting the cost of home ownership, especially for those first, let's say year, 2 years, I think that's realistic, right? For you to come right out of the gate swinging and hitting home runs, I think is going to be less likely wherever you are. But especially when we're talking about the level of competition that exists out there, it's tough to say like, hey, we just putting this online, it's going to be as successful as one that have been there for years, right?
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I do
yeah.
want to ask you. I haven't asked anybody this question in the short-term rental space. When people go to sell their property, that is, let's say Airbnb, right, and it's doing well on Airbnb. Is there a specific market or strategy for selling that to where it's more valuable than just the home itself because it's got uh, this B&B cash flow tied to it?
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes when our homeowners are selling, especially like in the Palm Springs market, like we just share data with the real estate agent that's working on it of like, this is exactly how the home's doing. What we've seen is oftentimes the home will sell, the person that'll buy it might buy it furnished, and then we keep the listing with our company, and then we can just continue to work for the next person that comes in. This has happened many times for us. I wouldn't necessarily say that, you know, it'll drive up the purchase price like significantly because you can really turn any home into, you know, there comes a moment where like if you have 500 reviews on your home, I think some people look at that and go like 500 people have stayed there. Like, even though, people go to hotels all the time and like there's been thousands of people that have stayed there. They're like, so there's a part of it that's like, it does. It's not the nice part is that you can just hit the ground running. Like we've sold homes and like they moved they came to their own home for maybe 3 days and then like we took another rental. So it's like there's no downtime. It's just if you buy it furnished, you're just like off to the races from the very beginning.
Now, when we talk about the elements of the Airbnb itself physically that are important, when the property may already be luxury, is there a design element that goes into this that is critical? Is that something that you would assist with, or that you would at least make recommendations with?
Yeah, definitely. I took over the sales position at our company about 2 years ago, and what I found the reason I did that was because the algorithms are driving, the top homes to the top of the search results. I tell homeowners no all the time that we can't work with them in its current state for one reason or another. I mean, I'm not like it's not really through the lens of like a specific design. It's more about like I walk into a place and I'm like, are guests going to be happy here? Are they going to be comfortable? Is this home well maintained? Factors like that. So, you know, I what I've found is that like unique designs tend to do better than just like these generic boxes. Like, I don't want to call out a competitor, but there's one competitor where it's like every single home they've used the same couch, the same this, the same this, and it's just so lame and so boring. And
Right, right, right.
so I like that all of our homes have like a unique style and like vibe to them. I I actually think that those do better than ones that are just so generically average. And so that's really what we're looking for is you don't have to have every single guest that stays there. Well, at every single guest that's like shopping on Airbnb, you don't need to have every single one of them love it. You need to have 1 or 2% of them like really like it. So you can take choices, you can take chances and risks and do things that are not just like, very generic and boring, at least in our market.
Now, one of the risks that I've noticed as someone who stays at B&Bs is, potentially things break, and especially if there's a changeover coming up, if there's another guest that's coming in the same day that you're leaving, I'm imagining not every guest is 100% forthright about what broke. How does that get managed? And has there ever been times where there's been some major issue where, potentially things had to get moved around?
Oh yeah. So our cleaners and our property managers are taking photos. Those are time stamped. They live on our back end. We're really organized digitally, which is really important in this space as well. So those photos are time stamped. If someone leaves and there's damage, we have like a before and after of what the damage was. We're filing a claim. I mean, it really depends on what it is. If it's a broken vase, like it's not going to affect the next guest stay. If there's like a huge party and complete damage everywhere, sites like Airbnb have been really great at like,
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
we give them a call and it's just like, we're going to have to move these people. There's just no way. Like, it happens so rarely at our company because like we're hosting longer stays, we're hosting people
Yeah.
that leave families, like we're really particular, like we're the anti-party company. But it definitely does happen, but we've done a great job of being paid out when there is damage. It's not a perfect system, but it definitely does work. We try everything to not have to move people, but a flood in a house, you're
Yeah.
gonna move people.
That's right, and I'm thinking about all the other kinds of, wacky things that can come up. When we talk about Airbnb and the short-term rental space, what I've also seen, I'm a Texas licensed realtor, is I believe it's Dallas. They made it so you couldn't do short-term rentals any longer, but people were doing monthly stays. And I've
Yeah.
actually done this myself, and I've realized I wonder how many people are utilizing Airbnb to find monthly and longer term stays. Is this a segment that you see growing?
Yeah, about 40% of our portfolio in Los Angeles and maybe 20% in Palm Springs are monthly rentals. Maybe those numbers are even a little bit higher at this point. So whenever there's regulations that come in, at least in the state of California, it might be the same in Texas, 30-day rentals are considered legal. Like, so it's like a workaround. It's considered a long-term lease. And so oftentimes, like, I was just on a call with a company that owns like hundreds of buildings. And, at least in Los Angeles right now, they're having a hard time renting out some of their units long term. And so, they're considering putting on, like, they have a multifamily, considering putting on one unit that can't be rented short term as a monthly rental. And we'll just stack rentals back to back to back. I think it's a good way to diversify. Like, I know you have a lot of real estate people that listen, that would be a really good way to diversify. Let's say you have 16 unit building, you could turn one of them into a monthly rental and just test that market. That would be a very easy, simple way to start testing that market and see if it's something that like might work for you long term. I think part of this is like a lot of people have uncertainty about our world right now.
Yeah.
Digital nomads are not going away. Like there's a segment of people that can work from anywhere and they literally just hop around the world. And we're set up to cater to these people and it's not slowing down. Um, what I've seen, at least in our market, you're not going to necessarily make too much more money because like there's Airbnb fees. There's like,
Yeah.
then you're paying, there's different fees that it kind of averages out to right around maybe a little bit more money you're going to be making. And then as we start to gain success, then we can raise the rate over time. But yeah, so we're doing really well with monthly rentals. Our guests are staying on average on Airbnb like 1 to 3 months is typically what we see. Over
Oh,
3 months, yeah, 1 to 3 months is typically what we say for the monthly. Um, Over 3 months, like you might want to list on Zillow and Redfin as well. You're paying some pretty heavy Airbnb fees if you're gonna stay for 6 months in an Airbnb.
yeah.
So
Longer than that. Yeah. I've I echoed that. And as someone, I consider myself a digital nomad. I've looked at that and I've thought, there's got to be other people that are like minded who are looking to Airbnb. And I've been looking on Zillow as well. And you realize that you don't automatically think that Airbnb and Zillow would kind of have any kind of, overlap, but there does seem to be at least a little bit of that. We are coming up on time here, though, Brad. Any new projects that you're working on? And then, as well, what's the best way for folks to reach out to your team?
Yeah. So the thing I'm most excited about, I've been using Claude Code to rebuild our booking engine. I'm looking through the lens of software and how I can just replace things that I'm paying for. So replacing Salesforce with our own custom CRM. And the next thing that I'm working on is our booking engine. So I'm about ready to launch that. And kind of to your point of monthly rentals, I've been concerned that the price continues to go up and up and up. And so I built a whole booking platform that allows people to pay by like instant bank transfer. And so this is going to start to bring down the cost of these monthly rentals because I see the same problem that you're talking about, which is like, okay, Zillow is like you pay a monthly rate and then you pay a security deposit, whereas the short term industry is you pay a rate and then you pay insurance and you pay all these other things and it starts to just balloon out of control. So it's something that we're thinking about as well, how we can reduce that rate to be not necessarily exactly in line with the market because there should be a premium charge if you're renting furnished for 3 months. But it's the major thing that I'm focused on at this point in time. And for anyone out there, Claude is the best thing that I've ever used. We have a whole company brain built out. Like it has leveled up our business to a point where it's like it's just remarkable, to be quite honest.
Brad, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for your time.
All right, thanks, Dylan.